Unless she means I spiritually awaken, and then I like totally just rip some loggers apart, you know.
No, but you're in chapter 2.
Chapter 2, logging.
So I may have to actually break these up into chapters. We'll see.
The day after. The next morning was full of sunshine and birdsong. I could smell the heat of the afternoon building, those long, honey-like hours in late June when the earth isn't tired of its own warmth yet. But it was crisp and pleasant now. I got up. I sat on my bed for a moment, letting my feet dangle from it. I felt angry, because I have high rage. The weight of the previous day had coiled up somewhere in my chest, and I felt like a tiny merry-go-round gaining speed. And there was the dream. Then I remembered the dream. The clearing, the animals, and the sky waiting for me. I took a shower, ate something without really paying attention, and went out. Anna stayed behind. Weren't you supposed to escort me there, Anna? Or Anya?
Eh.
How dare you?
I don't. I'm curious about what she'll be like when you. I wonder if she's like the human side. So if you go towards.
Worm side.
I wasn't going to say worm side. But I mean, she's just like more human-esque, where if you go less with the forest and more just. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe more spiritually or something. I don't know.
Summer morning. I was halfway through the forest when I realized I was walking toward the logging site. Wow. Autopilot much. Protest activists answers. Let's go! Against the machines. High rage. I was so focused on my anger and the turmoil in my head that I didn't really care where I was going. When I snapped out of it, the sun was shining, the village was far behind me, and I wasn't sure how I'd gotten there. No more stalling. It was time to set my plan in motion. So what exactly was my plan? I was pretty sure I was supposed to meet Cornell, and he was supposed to kind of direct me to stop the logging, to learn about my family, or I needed to find someone. I did kind of need to find someone. But I also kind of want to learn about my family, because something's still amiss.
They also want to stop the logging, so.
Ah.
But that theoretically that vision did state that you kind of had to work together to stop the logging. So maybe you try to go for
Need to find someone?
Yeah.
Need to find someone. There was someone I had to find and press for answers. No, it was Cornell, but okay. We'll go with Daniel. He likes me. I wanted to talk to Daniel. He seemed to know more than what he'd told me. I had a feeling that he's here trying to save the Pushka. I looked around.
It could have been that if you had gone with the other one, it would have found him.
Brave. I looked around. On my right was the ancient forest. On the left was freshly torn clearing ahead of me, ruining the view. There was huge logging machines and a group of people arguing in their shadow. A perfect picture of the battlefield seconds before the first shots are fired. I look at the clearing, I look at the machines, I look at everyone.
So, not trying to spoil it again. I don't think there's actually a moon phase you're actually born under. I think you do get to pick, because the fact there is an achievement for all 5 moon phases.
I'm still looking for someone. So I'll go and look at everyone. There were people there too. The loggers were sitting idly on the tree trunks, sharing cigarettes, because that's appropriate. The The police that stood between them and the colorful group of protesters were visibly uneasy and twitchy. I saw some reporters who were clearly bored because no one was doing anything interesting. The harvesters loomed over the clearing, reeking. I saw a familiar face among the protesters. Is it Daniel? Oh, it's Daniel. I noticed Daniel. He stood near a group of arguing protesters, but as I cast my eyes on him, he went to one of the harvesters, turned his back on the other people there, and started pissing on the machine. The protesters were clearly conflicted. I had business to do. I wanted to know what it was all about. Maybe I should solve the conflict. With what?
Give in to your rage.
I had business to do. High rage choice. I had business to do there, so I went towards them. One of the police officers, young and nervous, said something I didn't fully understand. I ignored him, or I shrugged.
Give in to your rage. Give in to the dark side.
Police, unfriendly. I tried to walk past him. He stepped in my way and slowly assessed me. Oh, he said, you're one of them. And then let me go. Then I noticed I wasn't alone. And then I noticed someone used the commotion to sneak with me past the police. A girl with disheveled, bleached out hair. Don't worry, she patted the officer on the arm. It was an awful pickup line anyway. He recoiled. You shouldn't touch me, ma'am. I rolled my eyes. I smiled.
The only time I think this character would smile is when she's about to eat your face.
I rolled my eyes. I rolled my eyes and wanted to say something, but I was interrupted. Pat, Cornell called from the clearing, or from the gathering. Could you come here? I need you to show Olga that chart. She sighed, reaching to her backpack and taking out a tablet. And they're at it again, she murmured under her breath and winked at me. Coming. I went toward the activists. As I walked towards Daniel, I heard more and more of the argument. Olga, you can't, Cornell was saying. Pat stood next to him with her tablet. She looked a bit amused. Do not fucking tell me what I can and can't do, Cornell. That woman with dreadlocks interrupted. I can because they are destroying our mother. I can fight with all the means at my disposal, even if that means burning those harvesters to the ground. Cornell raised his eyebrows. Burn the harvesters, Cornell asked calmly. This is draught. Olga, are you out of your mind? You know what I mean. We can fight them any way we can because this is a fucking war, she spat. He sighed. You've never seen real war, and it shows. Nobody is shooting at us, and believe me, we want it to stay that way. We need a peaceful protest. I approached Daniel, who's pissing on a harvester.
Oh god, Tammy's not gonna do a peaceful protest. She's gonna punch motherfuckers in the face.
Hey, can we talk? I asked, approaching Daniel. Daniel smiled, zipping up his pants. Oh, hi, Maya. I think our leaders are arguing now, and it has been settled. It's good you came, actually. We need to tell Cornell that he's wrong. Oh, so I was to take a stand. I looked at them. Let's go, motherfuckers! I was kidding. I looked at both of them. Olga with her fury and passion, Cornell with his cool professional demeanor, and shared, without any reservations, what I felt about the situation. It wasn't a war. Yet. Peaceful wasn't flashy enough. Or It was fine. It was a fine line to tread. It wasn't a war. Yet. Yet.
Okay, so you became sympathetic.
To
Cornell
Olga.
became cautious with you immediately. Daniel's now loyal, and Pat is cautious. So basically, you've chosen that side versus the other side.
Yeah. It's not a war. Not yet, a voice rang clear in the silence. But they won't stop unless we make them. I only inflamed the situation. A true Arun at heart. The argument attracted more and more people. Someone old shook their head and moved forward. They had deep wrinkles, a narrow mouth, and a unisex grace of a tired, heroin-preserved rock man. I totally dug their style. They looked out of place. I don't know. That's a weird description. He's old. I dug their style, sure. I'm American, in Europe. They had shoulder-length, disheveled hair, a clean shave, and bright highlighted, and their eyes highlighted with eyeliner. Brave blue nails, heavy army boots, a red skirt, and a tank top completed the look. And pins. Lots of pins. All kinds of LGBTQA plus flags, anarchist and pacifist symbols, and I think some German band stripes. I observed them curiously. Kim. Olga, darling. You know I love you, but Cornell really knows what he's doing. Please, trust me on that one. They talked to Olga, but kept glancing at me as if to check how I reacted. Fuck off, Kim. You didn't even trust me enough to come here on your own when I asked you to. There is a woman at Olga's side. Next to Olga, there stood a woman, and she was the most beautiful person I'd ever seen. I couldn't tear my eyes off her, or I couldn't help but overhear. I don't know.
Well, either I think it's like you can try to entertain the idea that you're into women, or you can entertain the idea that you're observant.
I'll go with observant, I guess.
That's what, yeah. I know, it's a weird one.
Kim, I want you to teach me... you want to teach me about violence? She looked them straight in the eye. About fighting oppression? Just because your boss went to what? One mission in Afghanistan? Her Polish was peculiar, kind of mellow. Cornell winced. Lisa, leave Kim alone. He didn't know what to say, and it seemed that the whole discussion would be derailed. Maybe it was for the best, and I didn't let that happen.
Do not let this end. Yeah, I don't even know if this is like trying to state that it's stopping the argument, or if it's like they're going towards the idea that you're not letting them just simmer down. So it's your choice, though.
It's not a conversation that I can interject in my opinion. So
You can totally interject. You are the one that will put the end to this. You will be their saving grace. You are the Arun they need.
No, I'm the rune they got stuck with. To be fair.
It's destiny that you're here, Tams.
Uh-huh.
Don't let it slip by.
Okay. Sure. I just don't know. Like, the problem is that I don't know what it's gonna do. Like,
Yeah, no, just go with it, Tams. It's just okay.
I let them solve it their way.
See,
And then Olga punched Cornell firmly in the face, turned around and walked away. He turned around, holding his jaw and wincing, and then he started to laugh softly. The conversation was over, at least for the time being. Cornell, together with his cronies, walked towards the reporters while Olga went back to the group of people standing in the shadows of an old oak tree.
I think if you had gone with the other one, you could have um sided more with
Olga?
fighting. Yeah.
Yeah. I looked at the forest. Pushka is friendly. I looked at the Pushka. The clearing fell full of felled trees was like a gaping, bleeding wound in the chest of a friend. I had to do something. I had to do something. It felt righteous. I felt righteous rage rising in my chest. I had to stop the logging, but it wasn't search. It wasn't something that I could do on my own. I looked at one group. I looked at the other.
And
Logging
now you
site.
get to choose.
The harvesters were dripping with black oil, and the forest stood tall, serene, and full of golden light. It looked like it could protect itself, and then I looked at the felled trees, dead, limp, helpless.
So this is where you can now choose. You choose her, and you would escalate, or you choose him in diplomacy.
Ah.
You know you want to go escalation. Go with the warrior type. It's okay, Taps. It's okay if the ending isn't the greatest. It's fine. Just have fun with it.
No pasaran.
And there's where Daniel is anyway. Daniel's with them as well.
Of course he is. As I approached, Daniel pricked his ears. I could have sworn they moved. Hello, Maya. He grinned at me. I felt Olga's eyes on me. And who the fuck do you think you are? She demanded. She stood there with her arms wrapped around wrapped around the waist of another woman. Holy crap, my reading has just gone down the shitter. It was Lisa. She winked at me and mouthed, "It's okay. It's okay." I didn't care about them. I wanted to act. Or, what was the argument about? Do I really fucking care what the argument was about people I don't know? I rage. I couldn't care less about her opinion. I knew why I was there. I'm someone who wants to burn those fuckers. I pointed at the lurking shapes of the harvesters. Lisa nudged her. See, honey, I told you. It's obvious. I looked at them again. Olga rolled her eyes. I had more time to look at her now. She was wearing combat trousers, sandals. Sandals! In a forest! Are you nuts? And there was small, silver, double-bladed axe hanging from a string around her neck. The labrys, a lesbian feminist symbol. She wasn't hiding where she stood. She acted like she knew something about me. Why was she so jumpy? What was her plan? Kinda acts like she knows something about me.
Go ahead.
So, curiosity. I feel like there's something personal going on here, I said bluntly. But I don't even know you. Oh, Maya. But I know about you, she laughed bitterly. Your grandfather ran away and left his debt to the Pushka unpaid. And now you're here, and you can make it right. She seemed to believe it.
Willpower.
Woohoo! Full willpower again. Can I get health back, please? That'd be cool. Progress. Goal. Mystery. I looked at her skeptical, but he seemed to believe it. Olga is sympathetic. The question is, she looked at me as she paused, will you do it? Before I could answer, there was a commotion, a change of mood. Olga stiffened and looked over my head. The police were coming! The redcoats are coming. The police were coming our way. Officers, Olga said, hissing the words through her teeth. Ma'am, said the officer, whose round face was adorned by a mustache that looked like a shoe brush. Disperse. I got ready for a fight, but I wasn't easy to intimidate. I tried to de-escalate. What did I become, Cornell? Did I suddenly change heart? No. Do I go for the full-on rage monster, or should I tone it down to I wouldn't be intimidated that easily?
As she takes a little sip of her drink.
I have a friend who has decided to join me.
Is she a Russian little kitten?
Yes.
Our one cat is her name's Koshka. It's Russian for cat. She's probably sitting on laying down, but on the arm of my chair, which is where Tammy is right now. Tammy's in my spot. I'm in Tammy's spot, and I've got the pumpkin laying.
I got ready for your fight.
Yep.
Tiny Koshka, fuck the police. Disperse, repeated the officer. For what? I stepped forward and looked him in the eyes. I looked at the cops, disgusted. I braced myself. I faltered. Why the fuck would I falter?
Yeah.
I'm a very chest-pumped-up American in Europe. Why would I falter? Brace? Brace myself. Take the defense.
See. Oh, yeah, you can go with that. You go ahead. Yeah, I was going to go without the top one.
Yeah.
I personally kind of like the top one, but brace yourself makes sense.
I stood shoulder to shoulder with other protesters as the officers started to approach. A cop with a reached for a megaphone. You are trespassing on private property, and you are a danger to the public order. I could feel the adrenaline starting to surge in my veins, and suddenly everything was calm and clear. Almost peaceful. That's in a rune, by the way. They feel most at peace when they're pissed off. I don't know how it works. But it works. I must have moved, but I didn't feel it, and there I was, right in front of the officer. I pushed him, uses my rage. Well, it's the high rage option. I laughed at him. The forest wasn't private. I mean, the forest isn't really private, and he's just kind of making shit up as he goes along. But we're going full rage here. So.
Are you really? Okay, hold on. As your conscience here, I just want to bring him involved. If you push him, you have committed a crime.
I guess so. But I can laugh at him.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll laugh at him. Who's this clown? I asked in the short pause when he was drawing breath. Everyone heard. Someone laughed. The officer went red, then white. Shut up, or I'll have you arrested for disturbing the peace, he yelled. The cop took 3 steps forward. Wasn't I already nose to nose with him? He took 3 steps forward and stood nose to nose with me. And then all hell broke loose. Now I don't get a choice.
Yes, that's fine.
I charge. I lunged at the officer, and when he went down, I started kicking. Brave. I didn't know what came over me, but I fought like a beast. I took on 3 armored cops and smashed them around like bowling pins. I can, didn't notice them coming, or I can look around.
Yeah, well, look around. It does save your willpower. Uses up willpower, but saves your health, so makes sense.
Yeah.
Red.
I kept enough of a cool head to notice more officers coming, and I retreated. I heard harsh, menacing voices. I heard screams. I heard people running towards one another. The police crashing into the protesters. Some of them fought back, some turned and ran, and some sat down on the ground, only to be dragged away. I saw the reporters.
Go ahead. This is going to be interesting.
The journalists came running, finally finding something worth moving their asses for. But some of the officers quickly stood in their way. There was a quick exchange of profanities, and then the cameras were lowered. There would there would be no evidence of police brutality in the media. At least not today. Do not do anything rash, said Olga, dragging me away. You've done enough for today. I hope it was a praise. And I gained that willpower back, baby! Woo! Goal mission. Stop the logging at any cost. Olga is now friendly. Hey! I hope it was praise, but not a rebuttal. But I didn't dare to ask. Continue on. The ugly truth. High rage. When I was on the road to the village and nobody could see me, I stopped and screamed. A startled flock of birds took off from the trees nearby and filled the air with feathers and movement. I was alone, or so I thought. Pushkas everywhere. Hey, let me help you, a voice behind me said, and I jumped. A woman was looking at me with concern. What happened? I said nothing. I was fine. Or it was too much. Why would I lose rage?
I don't know. And not answering her feels rude. Just personally.
Yeah. I was fine. I'm fine, I croaked. My throat hurt. She rummaged it in her backpack. Here, I have water if you need some. We walked slowly towards the village. Who the fuck are you? And why are you being nice to me?
Press?
Press is sympathetic.
So she's probably an actual reporter?
I learned that she was an independent German reporter.
There we go.
Who'd come here about a month ago. Her name was Erica. So, why are you protesting the logging? She asked after a few minutes of small talk. High rage. It was my civic duty. For personal reasons, or honestly, I had no idea. Why would you say, honestly, I have no idea? To a reporter.
Yeah.
Sounds super sus.
It's either, yeah, I definitely think it's one of the two.
Duty. As an American on European soil.
Yeah.
High rage.
If anyone's gonna rip down these trees, it's America.
America! I haven't been here for long, I answered angrily, but I've already learned that Poland is ruled by a right-wing party who are totally climate catastrophe denialists. I feel Polish and I have all the right to protest. I looked at her. And why are you asking? Ow. She looked at me with renewed interest. You know why they're cutting down the trees? She asked back. Because you do know that logging is done by a government company, the state forests. The fuckers. But why? I had no idea. The fuckers is strong with this one. The fuckers, I growled. Politicians are tainted. I hated politicians, which is true. On a personal level. I say we take off and nuke them from orbit. I shook my head. Pretty radical, she snorted with laughter. But that destroyed the forest. Erica reached for her notebook.
No. You misunderstand. I say we take them off and nuke them from orbit.
Yeah. Just throw them out into space in some little suits.
And you send them in a ship.
And then nuke
the ship. If you really want to, you can even get more fancy and just make sure that it's just a nuclear device with a rocket around it.
Because I mean, how many of them know rocket science, right? Anyway, Erica reached for her notebook.
Okay, now enough of the side note. I understand the use for politicians. I just wish they wouldn't lie to us as much. Yeah. That's my big thing.
It all started with spruce bark beetles. Erica looked into her notes and started explaining the whole situation. That year, the beetles' infestation was of catastrophic proportions, and the foresters decided that the only way to stop it and save the rest of the forest was to cut down as many infested trees as fast as possible.
The funny story is that actually happened here many years ago.
Yep.
And then people started saying you're fucking idiots because they cut down the trees, and then leave the trees for like a little bit, or they'd like start like chipping them up on site.
Yeah.
And then the beetles would just go to a different tree.
Yeah.
The only thing that saved us was the fact that the beetles that came were not indigenous to our area. So when we had a huge cold snap, all the beetles died.
Pretty much.
But yeah, I remember that happening with us. You want to continue on?
Was cutting down trees necessary, but was the logging legal? Couldn't they just remove the dead trees? Hmm. Do I want to go the legal route, or...
Theoretically, they're not logging at that point in their argument. In their argument, they're cutting down the trees to save the trees. But yes, yeah, I would go with the first one personally.
Okay.
Was it really necessary, or could because there's nothing that's saying that the trees were dead.
Yeah.
Unless like the ones that killed it, and she's trying to say, why didn't they just focus on the ones that were beetle infested?
Yeah. Is cutting down the trees the only way to stop the infestation? I asked, confused. The foresters state that it was the only way, she said. Some biologists argue that they were cutting wrong trees and doing it too late to change anything.
So then I'd go with the bottom one. Yeah.
Maybe if they removed the dead trees, the infestation wouldn't spread. I tried to find a solution. They might do that. The dead trees are what make the forest unique. Erica smiled. There are 20 times more species living on a dead spruce tree than on a live one.
Okay, then go to the last one.
Cool. Why did I have to deal with all these other options?
I guess it's just...
But is the logging legal? I wanted to know. Opinions differ, but such massive logging in the UNESCO listed area might be illegal, Erica answered. Did they have to intervene at all? Couldn't they just leave the pushka alone and let nature take its course, I asked. That's one of the options, Erica admitted, but there's a drought. No one is sure if the forest would survive on its own.
Is that drought? Is that how you spell drought?
I don't know if that's how it's spelled. Okay. But the way that would be pronounced in my brain is drought. Okay. High rage. It was infuriating. Why couldn't she just answer my question? Whose side is she on? Or I could lose a willpower and I tried to understand her point of view. The rage monster just says, whose side is she on?
Go ahead.
As much as I'd like to be diplomatic with her. Whose side are you on, anyway? I ask in a loud voice. I'm just doing my job, Erica shrugged. I describe all aspects of the situation to you, but it's up to you to decide what you want to do. Everyone had their jobs.
Yeah, you actually went neutral with them. I think sympathetic is one step above. So I think you went down with them, but that's okay.
I nodded. That was her job. My job was to do something about the situation. At least I was sure that they were cutting down the trees and the pushkin needed my help. I didn't have to explain myself, or it was the principle of the matter, or it was the matter of the principle.
Oh, you can actually... Yeah, you can go with the Brave. Brave is actually one of your best friends in this one, to be fair.
Yeah. It was the matter of the principle. Brave option. If I asked you which side had bigger guns, what would you say? I looked at Erica. The government, she answered. And that's why I stand with the protesters. She looked skeptical. You're not the only one who feels helpless, she sighed. But anger makes you see things in black and white, and the truth is always more nuanced that way. Or than that. Don't know why I said that way. I didn't want to listen, so what was right and what was wrong, or I said nothing.
I like the middle one personally.
Yeah, that's
Because
kind
the
of
other
what
ones feel like they're the opposite sides of the coin.
Yeah. So what should I do when I feel that something is wrong? I asked, exasperated. It sounds like I'm a child. I'm 24. Do you believe that people can be evil? Hell yeah. They can be Fomori.
I was gonna say, yeah. In White Wolf terms, they could be worm tainted, which basically makes them against Gaia.
Yeah. Anyway, she asked me that back. And I can answer with some people were bad, or we could use bad things. We could do bad things for sure.
I like the first one personally.
Yeah, some people are bad. Some people just need to have their heads removed from their shoulders. Some are for sure, I shrugged. But isn't that too easy an explanation? I said nothing. What's the matter? She asked. I told her about my anger.
Go ahead.
I admitted my helplessness.
Why would you admit weakness? You are angry.
High rage. I am so fucking angry at what I saw. I took a deep breath, then I remembered what Olga told me. All that mystical stuff.
Olga told you mystical stuff?
Yeah, there was
Oh,
something.
yeah, right, okay, right.
And they said, and they said that I have some family debts to pay. I shook my head. It's a lot to take in, and there was that foul smell back there. She looked at me in a weird expression. What smell? She asked. High rage. The smell was not the point! Of all the things I told you, you asked about the smell? I huffed. I'm trying to understand what's going on here. Press is neutral. She looked at me in a strange expression on her face, as though she wanted to say something, and then thought better of it. She looked hurt.
Now the press is cautious.
I thought she'd been hurt by my outburst. You'll learn in your own lifetime if you stay here long enough, she said, clearly wanting to drop the topic. What did she mean? Or I let it go and lose her rage.
I don't think you've ever chosen an option that lowers your rage, by the way, so...
What do you mean? I asked, getting irritated. I just told you. You'll learn in time. Or not at all. Which would frankly be better. Anyways, gotta run. Getting a little irritated with people now. As I watched her leave, I thought that whatever my family legacy had surely manifested itself that day. I guess I made some progress. Yay! Progressed. Goal. Mystery. I jumped right into the middle of a very tense situation, and at the very least upset the status quo. I just hoped that I hadn't made things worse. I walked on in silence. Maybe I should scream again and someone will come and hang out with me. Thanks. Time to regroup. When I came back, Anya wasn't there. I spent a few minutes in blessed solitude, trying to put everything together before she came. When she did, she looked at me curiously. So, how was your day? She asked. I fought with the police. I learned a lot. I met a lot of new people. Or I shrugged. I met a lot of new people. I met some very interesting people, I said, still excited. Activists usually are interesting, she nodded indifferently. They sure are passionate. They argue between themselves more than they argue with the loggers, I added. I can go, I learned a lot, ... or it was all I wanted to share. Because I don't want to tell her I fought with the police, because...
I fought the law and the law
Did
won.
I start it, or did
Oh
they
yeah,
start it?
no, you started it.
Oh. No, I
Your
called him a
anger
clown.
your anger got the best of you, and you punched him. You took it one down.
Either I learned a lot, or that was all I wanted to share. She doesn't need to know I fought the police.
Oh, she's gonna learn sooner or later.
Eh.
Go ahead. You could just tell her that, that's all you want to share.
I shrugged. Just another day in White Tower. We sat for a while in silence. There are other villages in the forest, very interesting ones, Anya said, from over the travel guide.
Yeah, you don't have to list them all.
Bogorazelsi, Booty, Teramiski, and Zerlonka. It's just the first one was just like, really? While you were protesting, I visited an open-air museum and saw the bison. You should see more of the area. I didn't care, or I couldn't see everything.
Well, you do care, so.
I couldn't see everything?
Yep.
It'd be great if I could if I could see everything, but I can't. I shrugged. I want to focus on the logging, even if I'm missing something else. And how's the search for your roots going? Growing. Anya couldn't stay silent for long. I shared what I learned, or it wasn't something I wanted to discuss.
Well, she did ask, so don't be rude.
I shared what I had learned. That people are assholes.
You become neutral with her, by the way.
From cautious to neutral?
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems my ancestors lived around the forest for a long time, I said, and there was some kind of debts to be paid. Wow. Anya looked impressed, but honestly, I'm not sure what to think. I was tired.
Okay.
Dream time! Let's go! I just sat there, looking through the window. The day'd been full on, and I was exhausted. I didn't notice when I fell asleep. Dream time. Dream time.
Tabby's favorite thing. Let's just go to sleep. Dream time. I can have spirit runs.
I can do anything. It's quiet now, yet I know deep down inside that something isn't right. I run, I keep walking, or I sneak. Why would I sneak?
Because some people are not rage monsters. You
Sorry.
are.
I'm sorry that I'm not a Regabash. The new moon. The tricksters. The sneakers.
See, and I think that's actually probably what. Can you press Y for a second? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Those personality assignment things. Brave, inspiring, analytical, spiritual, cunning. They're the moon faces. Brave would be, of course, a rune. Cunning would be a Regenbash.
Regabash, yeah. And then inspiring would be the Galliard, I think. That's the talking.
Yeah.
Analytical would be the Philodox, and Thurge would be spiritual.
Yep, so there you go. Those are actually...
Daniel is loyal.
Yep, Daniel's loyal.
I have some friendly peoples. I have some cautious peoples. The police are hostile.
Yes, because you did start a fight with them.
They started it.
Moving on.
They verbally started it.
Moving on. You called the guy a clown. Moving on. So you running or...
Yeah, we'll run. And I ran. I'm running through the forest to the logging site. It's getting dark. The light seeps away as though there are millions of tiny punched holes in the sky through which it can escape. And then the darkness starts to pour in. I welcome the darkness. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Just kidding. Or I know what I will see.
I've come to talk with you again.
It's thick, oily, snake-like. It wraps around my ankles, caresses my wrists, then takes my hand and leads me to the site. It's full of maimed bodies. They are all trees, fallen trees, still alive, still struggling for air. And there's the stench. I see movement in the darkness, but I am not alone. Are my options.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say. Go with whatever one you want to.
I see movement in the darkness. Question
Okay.
mark? Ouch. Yeah, we'll go with that. I see shapes moving in the darkness. They have long skeletal arms. They are wrapped in glistening black intestines, and each arm has a wide gaping mandible full of whirring blades. They snap at me blindly. Fomori. Cough, cough. Brave. I feel rage pumping through me like molten lava, bubbling from the ground, through my feet, up my legs, through my chest, to my head. I suddenly explode, and I charge. That's my only option. With a howl of joy and anticipation, I run towards the shapes and start to destroy. I bite off heads and tear off arms. I'm a force of nature, unstoppable. And then I wake up.
And you heal.
And I heal.
Finally.
I'm back to full! Bitches! I gasped and bolted upright. I was alone. The sun was setting, and in the deep red light, the room looked like it was bathed in blood. My pillow was on the ground, gutted, and the duvet was in shreds. The air was full of tiny feathers dancing in the draft from the window. What the fuck was going on? You shifted in your sleep,